Hi everyone, welcome to an episode of Root Beer. Today we're going to be brewing Cooper's own Mexican Cerveza. Some people on YouTube like to call it something different, but the real word, Cerveza. So first thing you do, so you got all my Cooper kit here. So I got my Cooper fermenter, the mix for the wort. The enhancer 2 is what it calls for, so what I'm going to be doing is brewing exactly how Cooper wants it or recommends it. So we're going to see how it turns out. And then I got my fancy dancy Cooper card that came with the kit. Fantastic, you write in all your ingredients that you added, so then you know what you did. And I like to keep a database and record it so I know what worked and what didn't work and how I can tweak it. That'll be coming later as we do our filming. And then of course I got my big spoon. First thing you do when you get your kit is you check the expiration date. So on here it is 14/04/17. So we're good. So it's not going to expire and we're going to have bad yeast or anything, because that's the big thing. So you just open it right up here. Then I should mention also before we start, you should sanitize. Well, you should sanitize all your stuff that you're using. Even countertops. Make sure you don't have any bugs growing. You don't want those guys. Alright, so as you can tell in here, we got our brewing yeast. And Cooper always has like some extra set of instructions. So the first thing you want to do after is you put this guy into hot water, either boiling it or in your sink or whatever. I'm going to do the sink for now. So run your tap for a little bit, just get the super hot water from your hot water tank. Fill up your sink. And put your wort in there. And all you're doing is softening up, so when we go and add it into your fermenter, that is going to be liquid. It's not going to be like molasses kind of type runniness. So as we do that, we'll cut back. So stay tuned. Alright, so while we're waiting for the can to warm up, and by the way I should mention you take the label off as well when you put it into the sink. So it's hot water in the sink right now. I opened up the sugar and it's solid big time. So we have about 10 minutes left of the warming, so I'm just going to throw the sugar in. I've added about 4 liters of hot water into our fermenter, and I'm going to put this now in it. And hopefully it'll break it down so it's not solid as a rock. Alright, so that's the next step. There you go, it's in there now. So now hopefully it'll soften up, we'll stir it up, and we'll cut back. Alright, so I put the sugar in, and I thought it'd be a long time for it to, because it's pretty solid. But actually I put it in, and I'm stirring just a little bit, and it's breaking up pretty good. As you can tell in the camera, I don't know if it's picking it up or not. But it's pretty much all dissolved now. So in a couple minutes, we'll come back and I'm going to open up the can and we'll put it in. Alright, cheers. Alright, so now we've let it sit. Our wort sit in the sink. It's now really quite soft. There are 2 ends on it, so when you take your can opener, you got obviously the deep end where the yeast was kept and where the lid was, and your best before end. Best before end is where you open it. Just pointing it out. So I have very crappy can opener. Some of you hopefully have nice ones. So depending on how good your can opener, depends how quickly it is. See, mine is a piece of junk. So guess what I'll be buying very soon? Anyone? Oh, okay. So you just open up your can. And because my can opener does not want to be replaced, I guess he cooperated. So you take it. I cleaned one of these, handy for, you'll see later. And you just dump your wort into your water and sugar mixture. Give it a little stir. It's not all sitting on the bottom. Now what you do is you just take some of your mixture, you dump it into your can, stir it around a bit, and get all the leftover sauce, wort that's in there, right? You don't want to waste it all. It's all good stuff. I cleaned a second spoon just for this case. So you're going to get all that good stuff that's in here. Like I said, waste not, want not, right? You don't want to waste any of this good stuff. It's all good flavor. Might have to just do it a couple times just to get all the stuff out nice and clean. Ooh, a little bit more, so that's good. So I'll just cut back when I'm done all this. You guys get the point. So it takes a little bit of time. Alright. Alright, so now I cleaned out the can, it's all nice and clean. I won't show you, you don't need to see it. So now, next step is, we're going to fill it up to 20 liter mark, which is right about there. And we're going to adjust for our temperature. So because we want a final temperature range between 21 and 27 degrees Celsius. Now, Cooper kits come with these little strips, so you got to watch that carefully. It does take time for them to react. So what you do is I always fill by tap, and you'll see me in a second, on the back of my hand, get to approximately what I think around 22, 24 degrees, like in that neck of the woods. Then you fill up to 20, let it sit, and watch your strip. We're going to go to a total of 23 liters, but the last 3 we're going to be using to adjust our temperature, as per the Cooper directionals. Alright, so like I said, I always use the back of my hand. Once I'm satisfied with that, then I fill her up. And I'll be checking once in a while, and you go up against the side so you don't get the foam, less foam, right? I'll be checking once in a while to make sure that my temperature of my water is still where I want it to be. And it is. So again, we're going to fill up to 20 liters, which is right where my finger is. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but that's 20 liters. This is where you insert the elevator music. Alright, that's boring. Anyways, we'll cut back to when I have it filled 20 liters. Alright, so we're back. I got it to 20 liters, and we are exactly where I want it to be. Like, that's nice, and it's about 23 degrees is what it's reading. So that's perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up to the 23 liter mark. And then we're going to add our yeast. Oh, and I want to mention quickly, before we continue, if your tap water, we're using tap water on this one, but it's because we have really fantastic water. If you don't have fantastic water, it's highly chlorinated. I highly recommend getting bottled water. It takes you much longer, but I know people that do. They buy big jugs of it and they dump it in and so on and so forth. Boil pot for their beginning, 3 liters, like instead of using hot tap water that we used in this video. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to top it up to 23 and we'll get some yeast done. So again, measure it by the back of your hand. Once you're happy with it, put it in. So 23 liters is right here. And Cooper's is nice, they actually put a number right there. A little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to give it a quick stir, just to mix now all that new water back in. Alright, so now we take our yeast. And we're going to sprinkle it evenly across the top. Some people stir it, I've seen on YouTube, that's fine. You can just give it a little stir to activate the yeast. Cooper instruction calls to sprinkle on top. We're going to just give it a little stir at the end, because I like that way as well, it works well. As you can tell, I got a nice IPA brewing in the background, which isn't Cooper's, it's another brand, but you'll see that video up as well. So I'll just sprinkle it evenly. Just going to give it a little stir. Of course, get the yeast that goes on your spoon off as well. That's, you don't want them on your spoon, you want them in your beer. Help me transform all those delicious sugars into fantastic alcohol. So, step I forgot to do, and I'm sure a couple of you just picked up on it, is to get your original specific gravity. That was my bad. Everyone likes that word. So before the yeast went in, I should have done this. So you just take a quick sample, dump it out. So you can have crap that's in your funnel here, you want to get rid of that crap. Take a second sample, take your hydrometer, here it is right here, came with a Cooper kit. I'm just going to push that back, give me room. And you put it in and then you degauss it. Degaussing is you slide it up and down like a piston for about 20 times. That gets rid of all the air bubbles that form in there that could tamper with your reading. Because if air is underneath your hydrometer, it'll push it up and you'll get false readings. So you want to get rid of all that. Okay, once you've done that, basically just let it go. In the meantime, while its bubbles are settling down on top, I'm going to put our Krausen color. I'm sure I get it wrong. I get that wrong every time. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I'm going to put that on with the lid. So it's 2 parts, as you can see. You got your lid and your collar. The collar stays on for approximately 3 days. And it's just to you got all this foam that's going to be happening because of the reaction with the yeast and the sugars and everything else. So it just goes on there, gives you that extra room so it's not going to spill over all over your counters as well. Has these clips too, these nice little clips. You can just put on, locks your lid on your collar. You don't necessarily have to use them, but you can. It's there, you might as well use them. That's my motto. Alright, so now my bubbles have gone down. And I'm reading 1.038. These things are sometimes hard to read. You really have to study it first. I'll get to that in just 2 seconds. I'm going to write that down. So on your card, your Cooper card, if you have a Cooper kit, you got your date that's taken. This time is 7th February 2016. Original gravity. So that's the 1.038. That's the original gravity. So I'm going to write that right in. What's important about that number is that at the end, you have, when you work out your final gravity, which is 2 gravity readings the same after a week of it sitting in the, you can take samples. YouTube people that I've watched and I've learned online, you basically wait till it's clear. When you get a nice clear sample, then you kind of know your fermenting has been done and it's good to go. So you take a sample, record your reading, and you'll see that through my video here. So I won't explain any more of it. But ultimately, the original minus your final will determine your alcohol content. Approximate. So I wrote it down, so when we look at it in a couple weeks time, we'll have an idea how much alcohol our beer is. Alright, so that's it. Now in 3 days, you'll see me take off the collar and we'll go from there. Oh, someone wants in the camera. This is our mascot of root beer, one of 2. His name's Tino. So he's one of the ultimate taste testers. Well, that's what he thinks, but really we just give him water. We're cruel that way. And then, here's the other mascot. So that's root beer mascots. And we'll see you in 3 days.